Roblox has released a lot of controversial and bad updates over the past few years, and today we're going to look back at some of the worst ones. So please subscribe to help us reach 400,000 subs and let's get into it. And let's first start with an update that could have ruined the entire platform and a lot of games on the platform, which was the update Roblox announced in a dev forum titled Experiences Using Marketplace Items, which sounds harmless, but this was the update that basically said that you're not allowed to use UGC or Roblox items in your games anymore, and if you do, you have to do a pop-up every time someone tries it on. So for example, in games where you try on Roblox items or UGC items like Catalog Heaven for example, anytime you try on any item, it would force a pop-up that you have to buy it first, which is really annoying obviously. And since a lot of games use this concept, and a lot of games in general just use like Roblox items or UGC items in their games, this could have ruined like a bunch of games on the platform. And it was really weird during the situation too, because I think Roblox was even encouraging people to like report games that use stuff like this. It was very weird what was going on. But this update was so controversial, and it caused so much like panic and just anger in the community that for once it was so bad that Roblox actually delayed this update, and we haven't heard about it ever since. I doubt Roblox will ever try bringing it back, but if they do, they're gonna have to change it a lot because this actually caused a huge uproar in the community. So this could have destroyed Roblox, but it didn't quite really. However, with that, let's go into updates that actually came out now that kind of ruined the platform, or well, sometimes they removed updates. And speaking of which, we moved to one of the biggest updates that happened in all of Roblox, being the audio removal update, where Roblox announced that all audios now over 6 seconds, except like the Roblox official ones, are going to be private, which caused almost all audios to be deleted, and also a bunch of audios to be deleted in games. And there's a huge situation going on because not only were the audio just deleted from like the catalog and stuff, but this also changed a lot of games because a lot of games use audios that they have to change and remove, so it changed a lot of games forever. And then it also muted a lot of old games, which a lot of people were angry about because a lot of old games the developers don't update them anymore, or they don't have their accounts or not around anymore, so it kind of ruined a lot of older games because they were kind of just sat there untouched until this update where it removed all the audio, which is really unfortunate. And this situation also led to another big situation, being that the removal of the oof sound, where Roblox removed the iconic oof sound that's been in the game for years and replaced it with the super weird kind of oof sound, which people still haven't got used to. I feel like it is kind of weird, but the iconic oof sound will never be back in the game, which was pretty huge and pretty crazy, on top of all the audio stuff being removed. And with that, let's get into more of a recent update, which is actually coming in a few weeks. Of that being, Roblox officially removing all the user ads on the platform. So all the ads you see advertising people's games and stuff on the platform are all going to be gone, which is a very controversial Roblox update because they're not just removing them, at face value seems kind of good, like no more ads on the platform, but they're actually replacing them with in-game ads, which a lot of people are worried about because in-game ads are literally exactly what they say. Developers can have billboards around the game, teleporters, stuff like that. And now because of this, a lot of people are worried that a lot of games are just going to have too much ads in it and it's going to be bombarded with ads, since these are the only directions people can go now with it. And like I said, they're going to be moved in the coming few weeks. February 27th, the user ads are going to start going away, which is pretty crazy. And with that, we've been kind of covering a lot of recent updates and changes, so let's rewind all the way back a few years ago, where Roblox changed a bunch of stuff that was major for the platform, starting with the removal of guests. Back in the day in Roblox, you didn't always have to create an account. You could just go on the platform and pick a guest, and it was really fun and easy. A lot more people could play with this, and they didn't have to sign up or anything like that. It was just like a simpler way to play Roblox. But back in 2017, they completely removed this and forced everyone to make an account now, which was pretty unfortunate since the guest was really easy, especially if you're playing for like the first time, you just want to test out Roblox and whatever. So a lot of people hated this update, and even now, years later, people are begging Roblox to bring it back at one point, but it's probably never going to happen. And this is one of those major changes that happened back in the day that I feel like shifted Roblox a lot. Because imagine we had this nowadays, I wonder how different it would be. And speaking of which, next we have probably the most controversial and biggest, update and removal to Roblox, being the removal of Tix, which is probably their most crazy and controversial update. Because even to this day, everyone still says bring it back, and people still talk about it to this day. Because if you guys don't know, Tix was a free currency. You got some free Tix from logging on and other stuff, like people playing your game or whatever. And you can use Tix to buy items, and not only that, but if you built up enough Tix, you could convert them into Robux and then buy items for Robux as well. So it's very good for free-to-play players, because you just keep logging in every day, maybe get some from their games, and then eventually they would have a bunch of Robux over time. And it was a very good thing, because a lot of people can get items just waiting over time since it's a free currency. And then if people wanted to, they can buy Robux. It wasn't always like forced to just buy stuff. And it's a very good free option. Since you got Tix for people joining your games and other methods, a lot of people found loopholes to like get bosses to keep joining their games and stuff like that. And Tix kind of got destroyed because people would find ways to exploit it in, which led to the removal of Tix. And ever since that, there's no more free currency on the platform anymore. If you want to buy something, you have to spend actual money, which is pretty unfortunate. I mean, to be fair, with games like Please Only nowadays, you could get Robux, but there is technically still no free currency. And with that, our next update is another one that kind of ruined the platform and the direction of the platform, being Roblox removing events. So technically Roblox events still do happen. I'm more so talking about the shift in events, where ever since the Roblox dock launched, They went from doing egg hunts, Christmas events, Halloween events, super fun interactive community events to just sponsors. And sponsored events are pretty awful, like straight up they're awful. I think out of the hundreds of sponsored events they did, people like 2 of them because they're usually low effort, boring, and just not fun. And then on top of that, Roblox said they stopped events because they want people to make their own events. But then when people do make their own events, like RB Battles for example, they don't even promote it. Like last year there's a lot of drama because RB Battles spent all this time and money making RB Battles and Rolls didn't even say anything. And this is kind of the one thing that everyone on Roblox wants back so badly. Everyone just begs Roblox, like, please just release an egg hunt or do something, because there hasn't been a good event in forever now. Just because egg hunts and stuff like that were some of the best things they ever done. Like egg hunt 2017, people still talk about it to this day just because of how iconic and good it was. Like you'll literally never see anyone talk about a sponsored event ever again after like a week. And if they do, it won't even be good. They just talk about how bad it was, which is pretty unfortunate that Roll stopped them. And next we have another small update that was really good though, being genre sorting. Back in the day on Roblox, you could just sort games by genres. So if you want to play a horror game, you can click horror. If you want to play an RPG game, you click RPG. And it's a very simple, good sorting system. But one day Rolls randomly removed it, and we see no sign of it since. However, with that being said, they have been testing out genre sorting on like mobile and stuff. So they are potentially experimenting with it, but there is no official release just yet. And we don't know why Rolls removed it, but from what I've seen, even though genre sorting was good, it was kind of broken at times because the games just wouldn't be in the right genres and stuff. But people really want this back. And next we have another controversial update being Anthro. This is kind of the first time Rolls announced realistic avatars and the direction for Rolls avatars, and it's called Anthro, where they had a super realistic male avatar and a female avatar. Now the Anthro avatar is never fully actually officially released, but it was kind of the precursor to Arthro, which is what we know today. Which, to be fair, a lot of times aren't, you know, just like realistic avatars, but most of the time they are just like realistic kind of human looking avatars. And I feel like over time people have kind of gotten used to it, but a lot of people still don't like it because it doesn't really feel like Roblox, especially when they make them like look like humans. Everyone says it's really weird. Not only did Arthro and stuff kind of ruin like the platform, a lot of people have said, just with the avatars, but ever since Anthro and Arthro released, the direction going forward for Roblox, they only use these type of avatars in their like posts and stuff. So anytime you see an official Rolls post that has avatars in it, it'll always almost be like an Arthro character just because they want to promote it, which is kind of annoying, people are saying. And with our next update is another removal of them removing Builders Club. Builders Club was kind of the same thing as Premium. There's 3 different tiers and you can buy them monthly, 6 months, 12 months, but the most important one I've seen is not only are people upset that they removed Builders Club, but everyone's saying that the Lifetime Builders Club was so good. And also with every single Builders Club, you got some exclusive items, which is pretty cool. And nowadays with Premium, you don't get any of that. So a lot of people are saying that is a big downgrade going from Builders Club to Premium. And lastly, there's so much more updates, but one of the more recent ones and one of the more crazier ones was the Dynamic Face update, where they started taking a lot of items off sale and iconic faces off sale to replace them with Dynamic. And the Dynamic ones ended up being so bad. And since some faces are obscure and like hard to add mouths to, a lot of dynamic faces ended up being like super weird and broken to a lot of people, and it went kind of viral in the community for just how awful they are. Because if you guys don't know, dynamic faces are faces that replicate your IRL movements. So if you smile, your avatar smiles. But obviously, with faces like this, for example, there's not really like a proper mouth, so it ended up being really weird. However, with that being said, I think Rolls did say they're gonna make it so you can turn this feature on and off. Before it was forced, and there's a big like outrage in the community, but I think they responded saying that they're not gonna try forcing it, which is pretty good. However, the faces still are kind of ruined. And those are some of the most controversial and worst updates Rolls added in the past few years. Obviously, there's way more, so let me know in the comments. But if I covered all of them, I'd be literally here for literally years. And with that, if you enjoyed, check this video to find out popular Rolls games are actually deleted, and I'll see you in the next one.